So stand by for Steve.
Hey, Steve, I've unmuted you.
Okay. Hey, guys. How you doing?
Welcome. Sorry,
Steve,
you know
how
how
are
it
you?
is.
I'm
We
fantastic.
We ran a little bit late, you know.
Yeah, I see that.
Steve,
But-
thank you so much for your patience, buddy.
Yeah, no problem.
I appreciate it. And what an interesting topic for, especially, I think you're going to cure people that have FOMO, because Steve's presentation is, can you watch paint dry?
That's right.
Trading commandments you need to know. So Steve, really looking forward to your presentation here. As you
Steve,
know, you can share the screen.
You can share your screen, and you can use your camera as well.
Okay.
If you want.
Hey, Steve,
There
I didn't
you
get
are.
a chance to meet you. I just want to say thank you for being part of this. I've never met you in person. I've actually never met you. I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Blake.
All right.
Okay, this is the dollar. This is one of the setups I have. I'm bullish the dollar. You see this upper band here. This is proprietary, but these bands are very lethal. And when the setup's there, a high probable setup, which is long right now, it usually matches the upper band. And I have a T target here, which matches the upper band. And when they're flush, it's a very high probability that the target will go there, especially if it gets over this L pivot. This was an entry you could have taken, but this was just mapping it this morning, and this is an entry. It hit my lower band. We're getting a bounce now. We probably hit 98.76 to the tick, because it usually does hit them to the exact number, which is impressive when you do a counter trend trade, or you bid, you put a stink bid lower, and when it hits it to that exact number, it feels good when it bounces from those areas. Actually shows you know what you're doing. But just with any other bounce, managing your trade, of course, is important. And something like this, where you were to take a position and it moves against you, a lot of traders I find don't move to entry. They tend to not manage their trade well. And managing your trade well, just because you get an entry and it's moving up as a counter trend, as you can see right now, you have to definitely be able to get those swings, because the dollar it's volatile. And so as long as this holds, this is what I'm looking for. I know, if we go back in time here, we'll see. I have to refresh.
How many years, Steve, would you say it took you to get from point A to point B with all your proprietary indicators and things that you use to live up to your handle Pivot King? And I've seen you make a lot of great calls.
5 years living and breathing
Okay.
it, though. Just like anything in life, right? When you live and breathe it and you love what you do, you'll be good at it. But you don't give up. I took my shots back in the day. I admit it. I blew my account twice. This was 12 years ago. And it's those sort of things, listening to the wrong people, which I did. I just find that there's a lot of garbage out there, and you have to listen to the right people, the right mentor, and someone who's been through the trenches, because it's that misinformation that could lead you in the wrong direction, and then you get hurt. So, and you know as well as I know, just throw up Twitter and look at everybody behind the keyboard. They use fake names. They don't, there's a reason why they probably want to use their name. It's probably because they have something to hide. But other than that, if you put a lot of work into your homework, and you journal, and you find someone that is sincere, and a mentor such as yourself, Dale, because I respect you as well.
Well, thank you, buddy.
And you just stick with it, and just don't trade right away. If you're getting into these markets, don't just get yourself in, this guy made 50 points, this guy makes 60 points. Who knows if they're actually even making that? But besides that, don't let other people's trades discourage you and say, hey, look, this guy's doing it, so I can do it. So I think a lot of traders these days expect to get into these markets, especially now, because times are tough. They have a little bit of money, and they're like, hey, I'm going to get into this market. I'm going to follow this guy's going to make me all this money. And then they find out that, you really can't follow someone. You have to actually know how to trade yourself, because, someone can give you levels like I do, such as you as well, Dave, Steve, and anybody that has a forum. It can give you levels, but you're going to have to know what to do with those levels, especially with this volatility. if anybody was following anybody with this volatility all across the board within the indices, you would have probably blown up your account. You know, when you get
Okay,
100
so
point
you're,
moves in 10 minutes, that's
yeah.
that's dangerous.
So this went right to your pivot, and there's a low of the day, and you talk about that's just part of the process. First of all, you had to be patient to wait for the entry, right? You want to talk about, and
Yes.
I think that has a lot to do with your title, that you have to be willing to sit in front of the screen and do nothing at times for quite a while.
It's good you brought that up, because when I first started out, and like I said, this is the sort of the part where there's a lot of misinformation. You see people making trades every half hour. So, you know, that's very stressful to do that. You can do that, but you're going to be living a very stressful life. What I found that worked for myself and where I started to become profitable is when I said, look, if I wait for this, there's a break that you could even short there, but if the trend is up, you know, you don't want to short, you want to buy the dip. If the trend is down, you want to short it. But if you wait for price to come to you, and usually when you map, and if you're a good chartist and you map a lower price, for example, oil, I called the oil, I know many people here know, I called the oil at 593 when the $21 level broke. I had lower pivots, it broke, I got out right away, which is crazy, but I bid 593, which was $12 lower in oil, and it hit it, and it rocketed. 693, sorry. And
Okay.
it rocketed. It was all documented too. You could, and a lot of people even took it in the forum. I got over at 12 and then I let it ride. But what I'm saying is, if you map something and you wait for it to come to you, and when it does, because I like counter trend trades, and managing your position, I find that the profitable traders are the traders that have the patience to wait. If you constantly want to force yourself to make a trade, and when the setup's not there, a high probable setup, you know, you're not going to do very well. I find, that's just my opinion. I find by waiting and waiting for a clean setup, a very high probable setup, in the end, you can even do one trade a week. It's up to you, right? You have all year, you have quarters, you can look at your account, see how you're doing. But I found my account steadily growing when I was very patient. I would stay in front of my computer. Even today, I didn't even make a trade. I'll stay here in front 8 hours a day. And if I don't make a trade, some people are forced that they stay in front of their computer for 8 hours, that they stayed there and they didn't make any money and they feel down. Well, I look at it as, you know, the setup wasn't there. I saved money, because you can get yourself into trouble. But that one setup that you can get a week can make your paycheck for the week. And that's what people don't understand, is that this game, patience to me is number one. Of course, you have to be able to chart well, but along with charting is patience. And if you're overly aggressively trading, anybody I know that overly aggressively trades, they don't do too well. Yeah.
Maybe the issue, Steve, have you thought about it, is that people need to make money, and the market doesn't care about your needs to make money.
Oh, for sure.
And you know, if, for example, you know, if you're undercapitalized and you don't have other revenue flows coming in that you feel the pressure to trade, and do you discourage people or tell them to keep their day jobs for a period of time so that they don't put that kind of pressure on themselves that everything has to come from speculation, because the market doesn't care how much money you need a month to live on. The market's going to offer what it offers.
Absolutely. And then, you know, everybody thinks they're smarter than the market. Well, you know, it could be, look what just happened, right? With the move. And this was just, I've never seen it before. The breakers going off 10% down, up 10% up. Like, seriously, if you really need to know what you're doing, and anybody that came into trading without, you know, experiencing such high volatility, because we haven't had it in a long time, they just got a wake-up call. So that's one of the things. Like, look, when the market's moving like that, what's wrong with stepping aside and letting the dust settle, which is right now. It's calmed down. You know, if you're not good with volatility, some traders do very well with a lot of volatility. It's stressful, because you're getting moves and big moves all around, all the indices, the currencies, everywhere, gold, so everything was moving, especially oil. But I'll go through gold right now, Dale, and I've been bullish gold since the 1450 area, which we nailed actually in the forum. But you know, as we know, we take profit off, you get your pullbacks. I'm still bullish oil. I like my BAMs are up here. We're getting a correction, which I like actually. But this is one of the areas I would actually put a bid, 1696. My all pivot's strong, and I'm looking for 1815. Why? Well, it matches the upper band as well. You know, this is the level here. As long as this holds, this is live. If this breaks, we're probably going to get below the 200. But, you know, I look at charts. I know a lot of people make comparisons, you know, just like oil and ES, the S&P. And I tell people these comparisons, even with the dollar and gold, and as you know, they've been moving together. And people, these comparisons that I find, it's good. It's a piece of information. It's just like the COT report. You know, you get the professionals every week, and, you know, it's a week late, but you get their data. When you compare the dollar to gold or oil to ES, and some people just trade within when it's together. Oh, we're getting a dump in gold right now. Yeah, it's coming here now. Anyway,
I wanted to ask you about when your bands pinch together, because I remember talking to John Bollinger, and he had a theory for his bully bands that when they compress like that.
That's silver. See it?
Okay.
You see
the
it?
first move out is
It's big.
first move out of the band is a fake out, and then back inside the band you go with it. Do you use that?
No.
For yourself?
No.
Okay.
Something like this. Do you see how it closed below my band?
Yeah.
Get the hell out.
Okay.
Because that's what
would
happens.
you short it, or because you're long-term bullish you wouldn't?
Exactly. It depends. If I did do a short, it'd be intraday, but not something that I'd be out of it quick. I like to go with the trend, but I like counter trends too because when I do a counter trend, especially when it hits my levels, it reacts to those levels so good. For example, today, someone on the forum had a bid at 29 on ES, 29.02. It hit it dead on and went up 15 points. They took down half. Those add up. When you get levels that are very good levels in the reaction, that was a short covering. They're just nice green candles, kind of like here, right? You just get straight moves. But this short, yeah, that would have been a beauty. No, I did not short.
You take partial profits and trade with multiples, Steve?
Right away. I take 50% down off the bat. I know a lot of people take 25, to each. I take 50 off the bat. I move to entry. Sometimes, depending on my charts and indicators, sometimes I'll take my entry off because it's just one of those double pumps where they come and they stop you and go, and I'll leave it and I'll manage it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It breaks, and then I get out. I take a little hit, but I don't like my losses to accumulate, and that's why my levels keep me in check. I use strictly levels, and I find that works for me. I keep it simple, and I find that simple works. Trading.
What are you using at the bottom of your chart, partner?
That's stochastics, but manipulated into my fit. No, it's. What are you talking about? This?
I'm kidding you. So the crosses are meaningful to you?
Oh yeah, I use them for sure. Yeah, I use everything on here. I use. There's a story behind everything, but it's tweaked into the way it's tweaked into my levels, especially the bands. But the bands keep everybody in the right direction, which are lethal. And everybody, yeah. If it wasn't for those, I probably won't trade. But anyway, they're good. They're good. They give me a direction. It's basically the framework, and everything inside that is yeah. So just
I'm going to pepper this with some questions that we're getting from attendees. That be okay with you, Steve?
Sure. That's what I wanted to do, actually. I want to take questions.
All right. So what do you recommend to new traders that want to start trading, looking to start trading, and would love to hear your thoughts on where I should start? And that's from Mike Arthur. Where should someone start? With a demo account?
That's a very good question. First thing,
What's the
do not
first step?
trade.
Okay.
You could sign up. Look, what I would do if I had to turn back time,
Yeah.
trading's like a tuition. And I've told you this before, Dale. A lot of people that start trading, it's like you're going to be a doctor operating on a patient. You're going to operate on the patient within 2 weeks, a month? No, you go to school, you figure it out, you test, you have dummies, you're operating on dummies, those mannequins there that they're, brain surgeon or whatever. They're operating on, a demo. Would you want me to share my camera? Probably be better, eh? I don't
Yeah,
even
go
know
ahead.
how to.
Yeah, let's make it like CNBC. They're all from home now.
Yeah.
They're all broadcasting from home now. So
Okay, Dale, I'm trying to share it here and show
you
grid.
just turn on the camera.
Start
It'll
video.
say
It's the
stop
button.
video.
Yeah, it's the
Start
button that
video.
says start video. Steve, there you
All
go.
right. Okay. Hello.
Hey,
So,
buddy.
see the haircut? See? She did a good job.
Oh, good one. Yeah.
Going bald over here, though, but what are you going to do? I got a couple of gray hairs, too. I'm 43. I don't know.
Oh, you're
Whatever.
a pup.
Anyway. Yeah, so look, you're starting to trade. Be careful. Number one, what I would do if I had to turn back time, I would listen to the right person. I would ask the right, there's so much information out there. I would join a forum. I would join someone that you respect, but I would not trade. I would ask questions, and I would probably practice and work my ass off and chart, ask questions, practice, journal a lot, look at your account. Remember, this is not gambling, it's trading. There's a big difference between gambling and trading. And then when you see your account successfully grow in time, which will take years, not months, because you don't have to know how price moves, I would start trading, especially the screen time that you have to put in watching price. I like to trade securities that I'm used to. So I like gold. I like the S&P. I trade strictly futures, but I like to trade securities that I like to trade because I know the times they like to push price around. So you have to get familiar with what you like, and you have to be familiar with watching paint dry, which is one of the things, one of the sayings we used for this, Dale, which was, can you watch paint dry? And if you can watch paint dry, you're good for a trader. If you can't watch paint dry, well, then you're going to be a gambler, and you're not going to last long in this business. And that's why 90% don't make it in this business and 10% do, because the 10% are getting the right information, and the 10% took their time, were patient. Just like, you're in university studying for something, you want to learn everything in a boot camp in 2 weeks. You're not, especially in this business, because there's sharks out here, and those sharks want fish like you. So all those retail that come in, consider yourself fish in a big ocean, because there's sharks out there. They're going to tear you apart.
Steve, you're getting
So
some acknowledgement for some of the great calls you made lately, like that one you talked about on gold. And you have Jason saying that you called that low in the S&P at 2177, called for a massive squeeze, and you're dead on. Where do you see the S&P going by year end? I'm guessing that's not your style, trying to be a forecaster out 8 months to try and figure out where, that's for fortune tellers.
Yeah, but you know what? It's funny that you say that. Yesterday I got a signal here. I'll show you.
Okay.
Which is something that I couldn't believe that they did, but they did it. Here, I'll show you quick here if I can get it. I see it going higher, Dale. I'll tell you why. Number one, yeah, that 2177, that area that we had, which was a very deep stink bid, I got a lot of attacked on that call. And I said, you can even go on Twitter, you'll see it. I said the $4 trillion that the Fed has just pumped into the market, well, they just put in $4 trillion. They don't put that money in unless they want the market higher. And that's what I was trying to portray to people. Guys, they don't want this to fall anymore. That's why they put it in. Consider this target, high probability it's a bottom. Well, it's mapping up with a T, and it was matching my lower band, but I'm trying to get the...
Yeah, your chart's up. You got to hit the share screen green box again. That green box that says share screen.
Oh, 1 second.
drop-down menu.
Here, I might as well. Oh, I have to share the screen again, eh?
Yeah.
You know what? Don't worry about it. Everybody
Okay.
knows it's on Twitter. You see the video that I did last. Anyway, I gave that call 2177, and you can look. And I got a lot of replies saying, "No, this market's going to get killed." And you have to use common sense, because this whole time the market was going down, the bad news was coming out. And how the market works is the bad news gets factored in. So the worst has already happened. With that 4 trillion, see, a lot of people always tend to look at the news, and when the news comes out, you basically got a bottom, because the market factors in already that news. That news coming out, you got all these hedge funds, institutions, they know that before everybody else anyway. They're already making their positions. But that 4 trillion, I said, you know what, you're going to get a squeeze in this market to the likes, these are my exact words, that you've never seen before at the low.
Till
And
their
you know what?
eyeballs
We
are
did get
popping
it,
out.
and we got a squeeze to the likes that you've never seen before, because it was common sense still. When the Fed is putting all that money into the market, they're telling you, here's this money. And you know what? If you're a trader, you get that money. You should be happy because it's coming to us. All that money is coming to us. And if you're trading, they're saying, here's 4 trillion, go long. And
Yeah.
that's what happened.
You know that cartoon? It's like the buy the dip cartoon that was going around for years, Steve.
Yeah.
BTFD cartoon.
Yeah, the BTFD.
Where someone's going, oh,
Yeah.
well, we have coronavirus and everything shut down, and the guy would just say, buy the dip, right? That
Yeah,
cartoon.
that's it. That
Okay.
there is telling the market, every hedge fund, guys, we got your back. Here's the money. Take it and start buying things. Buy a new car, buy a new house, buy a new whatever you want, buy a yacht, whatever. Here's money. I know it's bad, but that's how this market, that's how it's working. That's how the economy works now, Dale. You know what, it has to fix itself, but, I don't like that. But, well, if you're a trader, that's why they want more and more and more. It's free money.
When you get your questions, fire them out to me for Steve. And Steve, your Twitter handle is @ThePivotKing.
That's right.
Okay, so there you go, Venka Tramana. You could follow him on Twitter. People are saying they want to see your screen. Some questions for Steve to everyone. Don't trade unless you know what you're doing. People still talking about your... Okay, how about this? I want to first start off by saying thank you, Mr. Marcantonio, for playing a part of my success and certainly assisted my future day and swing trading. Can't thank you enough. Having said this, gold, you're one of the best traders, if not the best I follow. Do you see gold getting to $4,000 to $5,000 longer term? Do you?
Well, there's that $4,000 or $5,000 again. I think a lot of people have been calling $5,000 for 10 years.
5,000 years.
Look,
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe some people are going to take this the wrong way. You don't want gold to go to 5 or 10,000. I'll tell you why. What's happening?
Well, you're not a survivalist, Steve?
Exactly.
You don't want to live in a Mad Max world?
You just answered. You just said it. That's not good. That's not good. So a lot of people want that 5,000, but that money that you made on that you're probably not going to be able to enjoy that. I think with gold going to those levels, there's going to be some chaos, a lot more than what's going on right now. And that includes the dollar, Dale. I know a lot of people, the dollar, it's going to go. Look, the people in the United States, listen to what I'm saying. You want the US dollar to be the reserve currency.
Yes.
You get a lot of special deals with that currency running the world. Now, these China and everybody wants to drop the dollar. It's going to be very tough. There's dollars. I don't think they can. They're trapped. There's no way they can. I know a lot of people are saying it could happen, and if that happens, maybe that we're going to get that Mad Max scenario, Dale. And I don't think it'll happen. I think they'll go to war, because when there's one thing that the U.S. government will protect, you can bet they will protect that U.S.
Hegemony.
reserve currency.
Yeah.
There's no way. It's an act of war. Anybody trying to
And we
go
proved
after
it.
that currency.
Yeah, Saddam wanted euros. You know
There
what?
you
You're
go.
you're a tough guy, Steve. And out of hardly anyone I know, you could, and I've been asked this question a lot, okay? I'm sure you have. And I know you could handle it. And this is the toughest question of our 2-day event that you're going to field right here. From Alex GH. I have a question for Steve. It might sound bad, and if it does, I'm sorry. So he's already apologizing. Steve is apparently a very good trader. Didn't know him before this. Why, if you're such a great trader, are you selling courses and signals?
Okay, I've talked about this 10 times. First of all, I don't sell signals. I just made a video yesterday that you should never follow anybody that
Okay.
that's my opinion. You're not going to
Okay.
last long in this industry. Second thing, when you stay at your computer for 10 hours a day, which I've been part of forums that a lot of them actually booted me out, because I guess I was butting heads with their analysts. I don't know. I know some of the people are probably listening know what I'm talking about. But when you're, first of all, I just filled an order, 1697 gold. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty good.
And your ES intraday bid got
Did
hit
it bounce? Guys, is it bouncing at least? Because I'm having this thing. Did it bounce from 1697? Anybody see it? I don't know. We're at, okay, let's.
Peter C. just gave you, Peter C. gave you the answer. You're a businessman with everyone wanting to be a good trader. Why would
No, I'm not done yet answering that
free?
question. I got to answer that question.
Go ahead.
Number one thing, when you're at a computer 10 hours a day, the first thing, I have web design experience back in the day. This is about 25 years ago. When you have your own forum, number one, it forces you to chart. Number two, anybody in my forum that trades knows I don't hold their hand. I pound the table. You hold your own hand. And there's a lot of people that thank me for that. Now, if you go to any other website, they'll gladly hold your hand. But I'll tell you something. You won't last more than 3 months in this business. So, Alex, my question to you is, wouldn't you want to be part of a forum with like-minded traders helping each other? Wouldn't you want to be part of a forum where you're sitting at your desk for 10 hours a day and sometimes you don't even make a trade? What are you going to do? There's only so much you could read. Why not build a forum and teach people a strategy that I use that works, that's been proven over and over, and not get conned like I got conned 10 years ago, listening to riffraffs out there that will blow up your account. So as I just said earlier, you listen to the right people, you do very well. But don't get conned into the amount of misinformation out there and bullshit that you see everywhere, especially all over Twitter, because you'll fall into the trap that following someone's signals will blow your account. And I'm sure, Alex, it's probably happened to you. So if you want to trade with the best, come to thebesttraders.com, where you can help other people trade, not just yourself, and share your knowledge with other people. There's no forum, and I know, Dale, you're part of a forum. Your forum's excellent too. I've heard good stuff about you guys, and but there's not very many sites out there where where I'm telling you to hold your own hand. So this course is to help people not get into what I got into a long time ago. Now you could say, hey, do you honestly think that course makes me enough money than what I trade? You're in la la land. Trading comes not even close to the amount of subscriptions you'll make per month. So anybody that has a site, everybody always says, you're in it for the subscriptions. Let me tell you something. People don't even last 3 months in this game. 3 months. Yeah. They don't last. So you can throw your subscriptions out the window, because anybody who has a site, if you see, they close down in 3 months. They close down.
True.
So when you say it's all these guys, that's the only thing they got. They'll go to you and say, hey, why do you have a website? What do you do at your computer 10 hours a day? What am I going to do? Twirl my fingers? You think I trade every 30 minutes? You think I trade every hour? What are you going to do?
I tell
So
you,
a lot of
Steve.
these guys, like, they think you make a killing on subscriptions. I haven't charged a member for 2 years per month.
Wow.
My member, 2 years, they've been getting it for free. Blocks on charts, market internals, not $1. Find me one site that hasn't charged per month for 2 years. Do you know why? I trade for a living, my friend.
Okay.
Keep it at that.
I tell you, you said it all. I tell you what, Steve. I'm glad that you're my friend instead of my adversary.
Thank you, Dan. I'm glad you're my friend too. We've always got along. We always have good
I'd rather
podcasts.
I'd rather have you as an ally any day. So Steve, thanks so much. And, a lot of your people came to join our 2-day summit event. I hope they, were edified by the other people that were here. And I want to thank you for taking time out of your day, for coming to Face on a few occasions, and for the nice things you say about us. So we're, laying it out on the floor for people. I know you do.
To your sponsors too, the Dale IG, CMT Association, I know them quite well. CMT Association, those I'm glad that those sponsored you guys. It's a big show, this Trader Summit. And thank you
it
for
was
doing
great.
this.
It was great to have you part of it, Steve. So good hunting, my trading warrior brother. Thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you, Dale.
It was really, I always have a great time when you're on camera, buddy.
I have a great time with you too, man. Always.
Thank you, Steve.
Buddy.
Thank you, Steve. Nice name, by the way.
All right.